many are still students, current students? Okay, great. So and most of you have had enough of me, and here I am again. You thought you ducked my class today. And how many of you are working professionals? And how many of you are career changing and not completely thrilled in your current profession? Okay, a few. How many are open to new opportunities potentially? Okay, there it is. So, one of the things I talk about with my students and, in my 15 plus years in the professional communication world is how do you get jobs, how do you get careers, how do you build your presence both on social media, but also as someone who's not afraid to network. And every single job I ever got, and some of my current students have heard this, was not a public posting. It was not something on Indeed or Monster. So that's something you should really think about strategically when you're planning your career is, identifying the organizations and the people that you would want to work for. Often students are in my office and they're saying, oh, how do I begin? Where do I start? How lucky are you and we now in the internet web age where we can have at our disposal so much research and so many resources to find the people and the organizations that might be possible employers for us. So one of the things that I do, and I still do it, is subscribing to the free newsletters, the PR dailies of the world, the O'Dwyers, as well as Muse. That's a really good career site. And I'll just read the headlines. I don't read every single article, but it keeps me informed of what's going on in my industry. And it also gives me keywords and names of people that I might want to know. I might hire them as adjuncts. I might reach out to them as possible intern sites, and obviously build those relationships on behalf of my students for potential networking opportunities. I also frequently engage, and I know another one of our professors is going to talk about Twitter specifically, so I won't go too far into that, but Twitter is really one of the most professional ways that you can engage and build a credential. In fact, I have a former student who actually came back to our alumni event, Kevin Bruns, so some of you met him. He's now the head of communication for Sirius. He got his first PR job by tweeting out to a professional that he wanted to work for. And they started engaging with him, and they started messaging each other, and that was an early career that he had, or a career opportunity that he had. I still read the old-fashioned newspapers as well. Where's Professor Hershon? Yes, I still love the traditional pieces of paper, and I frequently read the business sections, and then I'll obviously find an online article or so on and repost that. I'll frequently, if I see a spokesperson quoted in a newspaper, I'll actually then LinkedIn with a comment, oh, I read the quote that you had in the article the other day. I'd really be interested in hearing more about your insights regarding this issue or the situation. So again, it gives you a purpose in a meaningful way to identify key people you might want to network with. Patience, persistence, a lot of students currently say, why aren't they getting back to me? When do I follow up? What do I do? If they don't hear right away when they apply for a job. And again, by having some meaningful reason to follow up, whether it is you read something about that organization online, whether you looked at a blog post that someone wrote, that's a way being persistent without being nudgy and desperate. And let's see, pay it forward. Okay, so I have several alumni here. We had several that came back. And now it's amazing. I think last year was the first year that the internship and interview leads for my current graduates were surpassed with alumni seeking you instead of my former professional contacts that I had worked with back in my career days outside of William Patterson. So that's really exciting that we have a good pool of that. And don't just ask and take. Be sure that you're someone who will actually help the students that are here today once you're super successful, which I'm sure you all will be. Okay, so this is a little bit hard to see, but what I put up here, if you can hear me, I actually, is Billy Ash, did he sneak out, or is he still here? I originally started following them on Twitter and followed and sent a tweet, I'd love to hear from you regarding the Social Media Summit. I can't wait to host you here. That was one way that I identified this as an organization that we wanted to build a relationship with. And so I, again, started following their social media. And this one, you can see they actually then responded, oh, great, we can't wait, we're excited as well. So it's just one way, again, to build that relationship. Similarly, what do I have up here? The guest speaker opportunity for this. Again, using this as a tool to further build that relationship with a key contact that I wanted to cultivate for future and for the current day today. So again, don't just retweet without a purpose. Make sure you include either the @ symbol or the hashtag when you are reaching out to a professional. Okay, so LinkedIn. I can't tell you enough how much time we should be spending on this. I think the statistic now is about 78% of HR recruiters and employers are actually going on entry-level and more seasoned professional LinkedIn sites to research you. So in addition to your resume that has to be perfect, your LinkedIn site now needs, or your LinkedIn profile really needs to be complete. It needs to be professional. It needs to be error-free. It needs to have a meaningful, and I say update status here, a meaningful and ongoing presence as well. So you can't just have it as your online resume. That is a place where you have to think purposefully about what content you're putting on your LinkedIn, both in describing who you are, and I've seen a lot, and I wish, again, if it was a little bit different format, I could actually pull up some of yours and embarrass you publicly and assess them. We can do that after. You all know where to find me. LinkedIn friend me, or whatever you call it, LinkedIn Connect with me. So mine here, I have a very specific keyword because my goal for my LinkedIn is to identify potential employers for my student, is to look for potential guest speakers and adjunct faculty, is to recruit potential future students, and it also is to look for potential internship opportunities as well as careers. So I'm very specific in the type of description I have about who I am so that I come up in search. Because what employers will do, and this is what I tell my students, if you just say, student seeking employment, William Patterson student, that's not going to be something that an employer is going to find when they're searching. But if you put social media specialist, right? Social media intern, if you put healthcare PR pro, and if you put some of those keywords that, again, these employers are going to be looking for when they're searching, you'll come up potentially as a potential future employee. So that's something certainly to think about. And your summary is like your elevator pitch, okay? That is where you really want to think purposely about what you put in there. This is not your Facebook profile. This is not your blog about you, that you love surfing and skiing or whatnot. This really should be a professional representation of who you are and to showcase that you are a strong writer. Because obviously in our industry, you know, error-free, grammar, be concise, etc. So that's that. This is sort of some fun facts, and I already just went over that about what employers are looking for and so on, since it's a little bit hard to see. One of the statistics shows, though, if you put a personal message when you connect with someone, there's a higher likelihood that they will then connect with you. All right, so tips that can get you hired, and again, I can go over this in greater detail as well, but some of the things you want to think about, it's, you know, you have to be honest and you have to be proactive, okay? And again, it's kind of hard to see here, but you want to highlight the key attributes that are in the industry that you want. So similar to your resume, when you apply online with a resume, these employers actually are looking at those keywords that you put in there and seeing if they align. So, for example, if you put social media on your resume or on your LinkedIn, that's great, but you actually have to also put the platforms that you're proficient with, right? So you have to say, you know, strategic SEO, Hootsuite certified, all of those key things, because again, those are those keywords that are going to come up in search when people are looking for you. And that, again, is a tip for both your traditional resume as well as for LinkedIn. Your profile picture, and actually I think, yes, okay. So this is a former student of mine. She's now a vice president at a very well-known PR firm, and she's doing quite well. But which picture obviously would make the best profile picture? Which one do we think? Do you think the pretty bottom one on vacation? She looks nice, right? No, obviously the professional picture. Literally a couple weeks ago, I had a graduate contact me saying, I don't understand why I'm not getting a job, la, 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 la. And then I looked actually at her profile picture, and it looked like she was going to the club. Now, if she's applying as a club promoter, it might have been a good picture. And I actually, you know, and that's a real sensitive topic because I think personal style and the way you look, right? We're all sensitive to that, and we all think we look fabulous, of course. And this particular student wants to work in fashion PR. She thought she looked fashionable. But, you know, it wasn't. It was definitely a young, unprofessional look, too much makeup, too much jewelry. It just wasn't a professional, even for the fashion industry. So again, for this student, I actually said, well, let's think about, you know, who your role models are and who you aspire to be and who you aspire to work for and work with, and think about a profile picture that would, you know, emulate that and represent you in the best possible way. So that's something critically important. And I'm happy to look at and assess and judge any of your profile pictures. You know, my students who take me know that I'm brutally honest, right? It's out of love, I promise you that. Linking to relevant sites, linking to professional sites, that's obviously critically important as well. And I know I'm almost out of time. Okay, so how else can you build your credentials? If you're currently working in a profession you don't want to be in, you should be blogging. You should engage other blogs and news sites and corporate websites. You know, a wise social media expert once told me you have to maintain meaningful, professional, and ongoing and purposeful social media content. So think again, maybe your Twitter and your LinkedIn is really the one that you're going to use the most, but again, it depends. Volunteering, there's so many nonprofits that need assistance. Okay, that's a great way to utilize your professional skills in a meaningful way and show that you're avoiding those resume gaps that sometimes look bad. Publish. You can publish. Whether you're self-publishing online, whether you're screen grabbing your purposeful social media or your YouTube channel because you're a musician, for example. I think we have a musician in the room, one of my favorite students. I call them all my favorite, but you are one of my favorites. But being able to use that and show that you can, again, connect the dots with the purpose of that. So if, again, we have a bass player in the house and he's trying to teach people how to play bass guitar, he also should show the analytics of how we got more people to actually view his tutorials and so on. So you can connect the dots between the fun stuff about your social media, whether it's an event you had for your sorority, or the actual, then we actually raised $500. So think very carefully about that as well. And always be intellectually curious and keep learning. Again, how lucky are you? There's so many free webinars and seminars and certifications that you can get online outside of your classes or outside of your profession that you're right in now, where you can build those credentials that'll make you more friendly as an online presence. And I think I'm right at time. Okay, so thank you so much. And I think we're having questions after, if we have time. Okay. Thank you.